And we're back. Welcome to the Founding Lore Fathers. I am one of your co hosts, Richard, along with my good buddies, John and Dan. And we had a whole entire mental health episode planned out. And we had two guests not show up for the recording. So we are talking music and whatnot.
Actually, I
How
don't
are
even
you?
know if we're going to talk about music. We might switch gears again. I just saw this really clever thing about 10 minutes ago, and I have absolutely no information about it at all. But
Nice.
supposedly Grimes was working with this producer and made a tablet. It's a picture that's like just a bunch of emojis, and it predicts the upheaval and ending of the world.
Oh, what year? Where are we at?
I don't know. It's always like right at hand, but not quite here yet. You know what I mean? It's always a future date that's undisclosed.
I just started watching a show called Resident Alien. It's a
Yeah.
sci-fi show, but it's on Netflix. Fucking hilarious, man. I really enjoyed it. And they just had a throwaway line in there where it's like, everyone talks about how the Mayans were good at their calendar making, but nobody realizes how great their day planners were.
Right.
So I wonder, like, is this just a weird thing that just gets lost in the sauce somewhere? Is there a fun detail in there? It'd be worth investigating.
I know I also saw something about like there's what is it the King Charles's wife is missing.
Yeah, that's something I heard talked about at my gym actually. So I guess she posted a picture or something. I don't really keep up with
It was
royals. I mean,
AI generated picture that was from the official the official clergy
no
of
shit.
the kingdom. Yeah. They AI generated a picture of her with her kids and like, no, she's fine. See, and then they were like, well, why is there like six fingers and why is that? I think they found 17
Well,
points.
there's a lot of inbreeding in the royal family. I mean, you can't that it's six fingers and stuff. It's still possible. It's a legit picture.
Well, they
I know,
didn't.
I know. This is an audio podcast, but I almost spit my water out when you said that.
The
That
best part about it
inbreeding.
is then they came out and they were like, yes, we did AI generate this because it was a gag and no, she's still fine,
Hey.
but
Wait, we need to specify because I thought King Charles got his head cut off in like the 1600s.
He's
Oh,
back.
there's been more than one Charles to get their head cut off,
And
in
there's been
world
more than
history.
one
I'm sure of
Elizabeth.
it.
I
What
mean,
was
it's
that?
it's more than one Elizabeth. It's the same names and the same family members that are just reintroducing as the royal brand.
Elizabeth the First was the one that they used to cake on like all that poisonous makeup that had like the lead and arsenic and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it caused her face to start falling apart. So they would just cake more of it on, and it made her more and more retarded as she went along.
That
She's
explains why Victoria never did any of that makeup bullshit.
yeah,
My
I don't
thing
know if that's
is
true or not. I just made that up in my head.
it works, sure.
Yeah.
it's like it seems like okay, she disappears. I think it was like December of 2023 that she went missing, supposedly officially. But that's right after all this Epstein shit came out, if you remember.
Oh, Prince Andrew's tied to them.
Yes. I mean, there's pictures of the royal family at that cabin, and there's undeniable, but it goes all the way back to I think it was Elizabeth II. There was an orphanage that they visited in Canada, and it's funny because they bring out the official royal family's itineraries, and the dates line up. They were in Canada at the time this man said that they were there kidnapping about 10 kids, right? And this guy immediately dies of what they said was tuberculosis, but the nurse was like, he didn't have tuberculosis. He had
Oh shit. Dude, speaking of convenient deaths, You guys hear about the Boeing whistleblower who
Yeah,
straight up
Yeah.
said, "If I die, it's not a suicide," and then he
it,
just committed suicide?
there's a lot of that going on. Like it kind of made me wonder, like re-look into was it McAfee's death, John McAfee? Like him saying
Is
that,
that
like
the Is that
that's
the web dude? Like the
antivirus guy
McAfee? Okay.
that went up against the law. He wasn't paying his taxes. He did all kinds of drugs. So like I thought he lost it and he was being held captive and knew he was going to go to prison. He was getting old. He's 75, so he committed suicide. But he did a lot of podcasts there at the end and he was clear and sound in mind. And then you got all these other people that are just kind of being offed and they keep saying the same thing. I'm not sad. I'm not depressed. I didn't kill myself. Somebody killed me. And then they die a very mysterious way.
It almost happened this week to Ryan Garcia,
Who the hell's that?
the
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck that is.
fighter.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I do know it because he started speaking out against the deep state Illuminati gay hip hop alliance.
He started saying that they were
the baby
the
eaters.
elites were out there harming children, and then he had proof. And then he comes back on, and he's like sitting in a chair, and he's just completely still, and he's like, "I am only going to talk about boxing and fights and my upcoming fights." And he keeps looking off the camera, and he's like, like,
I am not saying this against my will.
There's money to
Once
be
you say
made.
but right about the same time, like, he had a video saying, "Hey, my credit cards aren't working. I'm getting death threats," and yeah. Then this whole like narrative comes out that he had lost his mind and that he was crazy, and like people in his life were attesting to the fact that he was crazy. So yeah, man, anytime anybody takes on these elites, look what happens.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's some interesting. I wonder how much longer Cat Williams has. We'll find
Now,
out.
hold on.
He got in with Rogan.
Cat Williams might get the same treatment as Alex Jones, right? Now, they've already took all of Cat Williams' money a few times. They just took all of Alex Jones's money. So maybe they'll just write him off as, just some bag
Crazy
full of
person?
air and
Yeah.
not to listen to him.
Well, also, I don't. They didn't take all of Alex Jones's money. Alex Jones got rightfully sued by parents. He fucking ruined their lives.
Let's not go down that road, please.
So yeah, just
Yeah.
putting that out there. I'm on board with that. So, what is a song that reminds you of summertime? Go.
The what?
Song that reminds you of summertime.
Summertime?
Touche. Good
Yeah.
answer.
So, you guys know who Morrissey is, right?
No, I don't.
Panic on the streets of London. That guy,
Okay, yeah, Morrissey. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
he found a way to be racist and a way to be that he tries to be defensive with using veganism. So he's being racist towards like the Pakistani people. He's British, against like Pakistani people, and he said that Chinese are a subversion of humans because of the way that they ethically or unethically treat animals. And I was just like, wow, you really took it that way, didn't you?
Filtering his racism through veganism.
I was like, that is like, I mean, he's just like, with the way that they treat animals, it's so poorly, they're not even real, like, good human. They're not human to me. They're below human. And I was just like, oh, wow. This guy should be weird.
I saw an insanely dark show with Bill Burr in it. I have to look for the name of it, but there's a scene where the dude comes into to the morgue and the mortician's there, and she finds a QR code on his armpit. She scans it, and this guy's like, "Hey, if you see this, I didn't kill myself. They killed me. I know too much." And they starts going on a rant about how like they've got They're selling people through the like Wayfair or whatever company, like through furniture sales.
Right.
So she orders one and she opens the box and there's this girl. And she's like, "It's okay, you're safe now." And then so she sits in the chair that she ordered and it starts creaking really bad. And then she looks at the box and it says, "For full refund, all things must be returned." And she goes, "I'm sorry." It's just some of the darkest shit I've ever seen, dude.
it's
Oh.
it's crazy, like, but it also sucks that like we got all this secretive stuff that is it going on, is it not going on, and there's actual real slavery going on in India that is either 3.4 million people or 34 million. I want to say it's the 3.4 million number that are actual in like in servitude right now, like legit, just because the way that their government and their economy and everything's set up. And it's like, why are we still dealing with this in 2020? What, 4? Are we in 4
Yeah,
now?
it's
Okay,
4 now.
I gotcha.
So the show I was just talking about is called all right, so it's called Immoral Compass with Bill Burr. It's
Okay.
on YouTube and I believe it's on like the Roku channel. So GSI estimates that on any given day in 2021, there were 11 million people living in modern slavery in India. It's the highest number of any country.
Yeah, okay.
I wonder. It looks like the number might be 18 million working
That's,
in fields and shit. That's an insane number of people, dude.
yeah.
And I wonder, like, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know much about India. Is that the caste system, or is that like okay, these people are indentured slaves, or is this like almost chattel slavery?
I think that like that number, if I remember correctly, they threw in like arranged marriage kind of situations and stuff like that too,
Okay,
which still is not,
not good.
no. Like um some of those girls that are being forced into marriage are like as young, like they're already predetermined to be married to some guy that might be 30 years older than by the age of like 7. So like, I don't know, to me
Yeah, it's fucking weird, dude.
that's kind of beyond, that's like back in the past kind of shit. Like I don't understand why we still got this going on.
So there's also some other weird shit that's out there that I learned about not that long ago. So Firestone Tires, they have a rubber plantation in Liberia.
Oh
Now they
wow.
have like a legit like it was established like well Liberia is the freed slave state in Africa
Right.
that we established after well I should say after emancipation, but it was established some time ago.
It was
And
actually before, I mean, I want to say it was like in the middle, like right before it might have been actually been before the Civil War that they established.
so if I'm not mistaken, it was definitely before, and the like southern establishment was actually financing that movement. So as a counter to abolition,
Mhm.
so if they had less black people up there, then they were less likely to have black voices. So it was a whole thing. But anyways, Firestone being the great beacon of capitalism it is, they went over there and cornered themselves the market on rubber trees.
Oh
And
wow.
it's, if I'm not mistaken, still operational today. So that was a fun fact.
Yeah. I know that that's one of the like a Vietnam veteran told me that was one of the main reasons he was a Marine that they were sent there was to help control the rubber trees and stuff like that that were growing out in the jungles. I don't know. That's also like that's someone telling me that that's what they did specifically, but you never know with some like people that are veterans, like what exactly.
What's real, what's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
people are
discrediting that he
weird.
was over there in Vietnam. I'm just saying like he might have thought that he was there for rubber trees, and he might have literally just been guarding some bags of beans. Who knows?
Yeah, well, Henry Kissinger and Richard Nixon were, they weren't up to good. So
No.
there's that. Here's one. Name a song that reminds you of someone you want to forget. Dun dun dun.
Uh,
Mine is "You're So Last Summer" by Taking Back Sunday. So there's a line in there. I had a girlfriend long, long time ago. She broke up with me. She said, "You're overrated." And there's a line in that song that says, "You're a touch overrated." It's just stuck in my head forever.
um, I don't know. There's not many of my exes that I necessarily want to just forget. And
But there's not just exes, buddy. There's plenty of people out there.
okay, more often than not, like I would just like tie like a bad song to a bad person. Like if I didn't like that, oh, I got one. Red Red Wine. I hate that song.
Not, I don't like that song either. Actually pretty. I'm on board with whatever the fuck you're saying, and I don't like whoever you attribute that to either.
I don't
Fuck
like
them.
this. I don't like when this person shows up because they're already like mentally ill and it's always a crazy ride. They like the shit out of me though, but they always play Red Red Wine. They always play Amber by 311 and like a couple other like Bob Marley songs and like I don't know, just because of like
Dude,
back in the day I got burnt out on like Sublime and Bob Marley. I can't stand that shit anymore.
why would anybody want to ruin Bob Marley for you? What a terrible person.
Right? Hmm.
Doop 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 doop. So, what do you guys think about the growth of conspiracy theories in modern day? Do you think? Because I'm starting to hear people talk openly about this shit. In
Uh,
terms of like, so like I was at the gym and I heard two people, I mean, did to judge entirely based on demographics. They were women openly talking about not being able to trust things because of like whatever the royal person is who's been missing. I guess she
it's
got probably got the Scientology treatment.
it's a sign to me that there is clear and evident things that are going on that a group of people are trying to hide, and it's just obvious. It's plain as day to anybody that can put pieces together. But there's a downside because with the more average to stupid people that get out there that like are getting into this stuff, the more disinformation that's going to get out there and the more that it's going to get clouded and murky and things are going to get just thrown to the wayside. Excuse me, thrown to the wayside and just overlooked.
I mean, it's just talk. Nobody's going to do anything about it. So really, it's talk.
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. Like, I think that if there's a group of people that are trying to usurp our government and use it for bad, all of the people that are younger nowadays are so well with critical thinking that they aren't going to go and fight a war for a bunch of corporations like they used to.
Well, I mean, every time I think about somebody actually doing something about it, I think of Guy Fawkes and how everybody turned their back on him and he ended up just getting beaten to death.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's
Even if
Sir
somebody's
Walter
going to
Raleigh
stand
was
up and
siding
do
with that shit.
something, 5 out of the 6 people are going to turn their backs on you and
Well, he
rat
tried
you
to
out.
do that in like 1605, though, or whatever it was. Like, blowing up Parliament in 1605, that's kind of big dreams, man.
It's pretty badass.
I once heard a statistic that 99.5% of people would tell on their own mother if they were faced with trouble.
Well, it depends on what the mom was doing. She was into some kind of like shady, like illegal blanket ring or something like that, you know?
An illegal blanket ring. What is she selling? Smallpox, Dan?
No, I'm saying like got like some illegal quilting going on or something like that.
Well, I think that there was certainly a period in my life where I wouldn't have said anything, but man, that as I got older, yeah,
Mm,
it's kind of engraven in your system because once you find out that like one, I'm pretty much once I found out that other people weren't willing to have the same morals or values that I had, it's hard to not, look out for yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it also like
Somebody should do something, but not me.
Yeah.
well also like it also depends on like who you're up against too. Like there's no way like the last we've seen people that have tried to stand we've seen people right now that we think are trying to stand up to like this group of shady people, and they keep getting off and disappeared and stuff, and sometimes it does make you feel like I'm not going to make a difference, so I really should just focus on my own life, my best interest.
Especially
I think
especially if since we're in such an individualistic society as well. Most
yeah
people aren't designed to think community first. Most people are we're programmed to think me first instead of we first.
yeah
So that's an interesting element to add in there. All
and
right, let's see. Go ahead, Dan. Do you think?
I was just going to say like also really here soon we with what we don't know what we're playing with, we don't know if like we're going to end up as being giving our control away to AI. Like that's kind of scary too, with how quickly that's taken
I
over.
saw a great meme earlier today that was John Connor staring at you while you play with AI. And it was just him looking all disappointed and shit. So, let's see. Okay, so here's a fun one. So, one of your favorite songs from your preteen years.
Um, well, see, my preteen years would have been well, we were like the that'd have been the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was listening to the previous generation's music, but if I had to pick one from that time, man, the Strokes, really
The
good.
Strokes.
Last Night,
Yeah. Last night.
The
It's a good
Killers, they're
song.
pretty good.
I'm gonna go with the Will Smith song, the Y2K Will Smith song, where it's like we're gonna party like it's 1990. I was like, no, wait, it's this. That's it right now. Well, yeah, I haven't heard that one in a long time.
You ever seen Todd in the Shadows, the
I
YouTuber?
have not seen Todd in the Shadows.
Oh, you
Oh,
gotta check out.
he's
Todd.
got some good shit. He does about Will Smith's last album and how Will Smith tried to act all gangster.
Really?
Yeah, he did a good video on that. And when MC Hammer went gangster, he did a video on that too.
That's funny because I think one of my favorite facts about Will Smith is the fact that Eminem put in his song, Will Smith doesn't have to cuss in his songs, but I do, so fuck you.
Well, you know that Will Smith kept on harping. Like Will Smith asked for that. Like he put it in a song, and he was even like the Grammys or something. He's like, I don't have to lowball it or lowbrow it like they do. I don't have to cuss at my rap songs. I play the high ground. Look at me. I'm Will Smith. I'm cool. Everyone
Yeah,
likes me.
look
Big
how that
Willie
worked
style.
out for him.
Yeah.
Will Smith, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
I think Chris Rock handled
Uh,
that really well. Like for making his joke and having to keep his composure while hosting the Oscars, and then just get right back to the show and not like letting that like fall into some kind of like back and forth or like a big fight or just Chris Rock did great.
yeah, I think he did. I wasn't. So he went on. He did a stand up special afterward. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but he
No.
did make an incredible joke in there about how, and maybe I'm confusing specials, but I know one of his more recent jokes is he was when his parents were married. His dad worked most of the day, and his mom did most of the home stuff. But they didn't talk to each other except for the 2 hours he was home at night. So Chris Rock had been married to his wife like 7 times as long as his dad had been married to his wife because they had to talk all the time with texting and phone calls and stuff. It was quite an excellent joke. I won't ever do it any justice. Now you mentioned you were more infatuated with some of the previous generation stuff when I was talking about your preteen years. What would you say your favorite 70s or 80s song would be?
Well, I wasn't too much into the.
Rick Astley
Well, that came later on though. We were
said
adults.
80s.
I know,
That's an excellent pick, dude. I don't think I can top that one. It's
but you weren't about that song whenever, like during the preteen years. Like you liked that.
no. I'm just saying in general, like what from
Oh,
that
okay, I got you.
era, where would you be at?
80s.
So piggyback question.
Probably going to go with the Talking Head song. If I was
Okay.
it doesn't necessarily matter which one. There's a bunch of good ones with them. 70s, freaking Rubber Band Man, dude. That song is shit.
That is a good one, dude.
Rubber Band
I'm
Man.
thinking go ahead.
80s. What's another good one? What is that? Hush Hush.
Oh,
Voices Carry.
Voices Carry.
That's a good song.
That is a good song.
Freaking.
I think
There's
for the
some good
70s,
songs. Like, even though the 80s had a lot of the same shit and like there was a lot of cheese, there were some hidden good songs. I mean, The Clash, man, everything they did up until that last album, Cut the Crap, was fantastic. Violent Femmes, they were in the 80s mostly.
that's a good pick too, dude. Your picks are better than mine. I have in the 70s.
Freaking the Pixies.
I have Dreams from Fleetwood Mac. I think it's the Rumors album.
Mm.
Rumors is a good album.
That's my 70s song. And then 80s is so wide open. I'm thinking probably something White Zombie. But I don't remember which songs are White Zombie songs, which songs are Rob Zombie songs.
So with White Zombie, More Human Than Human.
There you go.
And,
But was that an 80s song or was that a 90s song?
That's 90s.
That's 90s? Okay.
Yeah, I want to say that like White Zombie might have got it started in like 1990, if I remember correctly. But like,
dude, they were in a movie. I don't remember which movie it was, but they were definitely around in the 80s. It was late 80s. I'll give them that much. I don't remember which movie it was though, but I did see Rob Zombie in concert years and years ago, and so it was. I don't even remember who the opening act was. It was Shinedown, maybe.
ugh.
I think. Yeah, they weren't very good, but they were actually on stage while most people were in line. And so no one really got the chance to see them because they were finishing up while we were still going in. And then, so it was Rob Zombie was opening for Godsmack. And Godsmack had no business being on the same stage as Rob Zombie. Zombie just crushed it, dude. From start to finish, top to bottom, they outperformed Godsmack. It was almost embarrassing
No,
the way
yeah.
those acts went.
So how about my boys Pearl Jam? They've got a #1 song right now.
Do they?
Yeah, it's okay. Like, so with them, their last good album was 2009. Like, then the next album they had in 2013 was okay. And then the last album sucked. But this new song, it's pretty good. It's called Dark Matter, but like it's overproduced. And my biggest fear with them is they were going to take the U2 route. And like, you know how U2 had some okay music back in the day, and then it got all overproduced and preachy and annoying. And then the next thing you know, they forced their album on us.
Who's their best friend again, Dan?
Oh,
Bono?
I don't think that anybody ever hangs out with Bono like that.
Oh, yes, he does.
Nah, not like that. But
Dude, I haven't listened to Pearl Jam in such a long time.
They're okay. Like, they can write a song when they have to, but like you don't want to get like back in the day where like you could get a whole album and they're all going to be pretty good. Nowadays, there's like 15 songs, 3 are going to be good. Another one is going to have parts that are okay. Like when it comes to like bands that have been around for a long time, that'll give you like a whole album of good stuff. Radiohead's pretty good most of the time, although there's some they get weird on their albums. And then Queens of the Stone Age usually don't let me down.
Yeah, yeah. Foo Fighters, I found their albums are usually pretty good. They'll have a couple of A songs in there, but they'll usually have a lot of C plus B
My
rated songs.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They rock, but like my problem is I got so spoiled on Nirvana that when I hear Foo Fighters, I'm just like, dude, you could be doing better than that, Dave. But he can't because he's not.
No, he's it's pretty good given what it is, but
Yeah,
um no, but Pearl Jam. So back in the like early to late '90s, even into the early 2000s, it was so rare to have like real actual albums because that was an era that was dominated by one hit wonders. Um,
yeah.
what was that? 10? Was that the name of their album? Was that 10, or am I
Well, that
confusing
was
them with
that was
someone
the
else?
first album. Like if you're talking about the late '90s and early 2000s, you're getting into like Yield, Binaural, Riot Act with Pearl Jam.
Okay.
I know a lot about them. That was my ultimate
Yeah, I'm
fan.
just it's yeah, I'm not the resident Pearl
But
Jam expert.
you're right.
So
You're right. Like where like it all kind of flowed in together. They were one of the unique bands for that. Like Incubus was usually pretty good about making a whole album that kind of just blended together and you could listen to the whole thing.
yeah.
Supposedly, Green Day's American Idiot is supposed to actually be a whole rock opera musical type thing. I don't hear it, but I also don't like later Green Day. Like after they quit smoking crystal meth, I don't really like Green Day.
You know, they've got some really good albums that are out there. And
Oh yeah, they
actually
do.
wasn't I'm sorry, what?
I said yeah, they do most definitely. Like especially those first 3 or 4 albums.
Yeah. Well, even like so like one of their this guy says the MTV days. They had a song called Warning. Or I
Yeah.
guess that was the album Warning.
Well,
I mean,
Warning. No, Warning was a song. I was actually about
it's a
to
song.
say.
Okay.
Problem is that song was a blatant ripoff of a song by the Kingsmen.
Okay. Well, yeah.
But
I don't know the song. I'm trying to run through the list in my head so I don't have it.
yeah, I don't know the name of the song. I've watched a lot of videos on that. Like
Yeah.
pretty much every band that we've liked has something. Like even Pearl Jam, their song. What is that one? What is that song? It copies "Going to California" by Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Given to Fly.
Given to Fly. And like Led Zeppelin heard it and they were like, dude, you ripped our song off. And they were like, oh, we did. Whoops.
I
I mean, it's
At least
almost
they admitted
exactly.
it. You know what I mean? Like
There's
some of the thievery, like they're just assholes about it.
I've never ripped off anybody, but there's been a couple times that I've had some things where I've been inspired by like other songs. I'm usually pretty good about like making it way different, but every now and then John will catch me like and he'll like start humming out the song that I'm copying or vice versa. I'll do it to him. But
Well, that's a hard thing to do with all the years and decades and centuries of
right.
music that we
And
have out there.
then on top of that, there might be some obscure band that you've never even heard of called like the Tit Boobs or something like that.
The tit boobs.
Has a song like I got a magic jar of my own sour cream, and then like you happen to like it sounds exactly like it. You've never heard of them. They're from like Decatur, Ohio, or some kind of shit. And the next thing you know, they're suing you.
Yeah, so there's actually a band that I know. It's I'm actually looking it up right here. So it is the Ass. It's Article Sound System. They're a reggae band. I believe they're out of Florida.
The ass.
But they had a so the song "Levitating" by a Lipa. I don't know. It was a popular song. Dupa Lipa. I can't pronounce that shit.
Dupa.
I'm too fucking old. Yeah, they
Oh,
sued her for that one, and I
Dua
don't know if they
Lipa.
won or not. I'm sorry.
Dua Lipa, is that her name?
I, yes, I'm not going to say no.
I
That's.
gotcha.
I just know that one song from her, and I know that that band happened to sue them for that one. And then one of the more famous ones I found was there was a song called "I Can Ride My Bike with No Handlebars."
Yeah, I remember that one.
And so one of the Paul brothers wrote a
Jake
song called
Paul.
"I Can
Or
Ride Your
no,
Bitch with
Logan
No
Paul.
Handlebars." And yeah, they straight up stole that song, and they like, oh, I never heard of them. Like, I don't know if he just got the song and just started singing because I don't think he wrote that by himself. You know what I mean?
Because you're going to hear people using the excuse of cryptomnesia more and more often nowadays, just because there's so many different people that are out there like putting out material. Like, because you got podcasters now, you've got like the homegrown music scene from the internet. There's just so many people doing so many things that like you're gonna have more people that are legit gonna like commit cryptomnesia.
Ow! Sorry.
And then you're gonna have people that
Shit.
just gonna use
I've
that.
got a sprained back right now.
Yeah,
Oh, that's lame, dude.
but then you got people that are gonna claim cryptomnesia. Amy Schumer, excuse me.
Right.
Yeah, well, she's just a bitch. I don't know. I honestly don't. You know, ever since I saw Cat Williams talk about how like Cedric the Entertainer was stealing his jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've gone back and I've thought about like, you know, there are some comedians who are famous that like I just don't think are funny. And, you know, it used to be I would think that those jokes weren't for me. But now I just think that they're just not funny. And
Yeah,
I think Amy Schumer is one of those people. I don't think I've laughed at a single Amy Schumer joke.
there's
I
not a lot.
tried.
There's not a lot of good stand-up comedians right now. I think part of it has been that people have been afraid to express themselves because they don't know how social media is going to take it. But I see that coming to an end. Like it just seems like now people are like we're about to have like a good oncoming of people can't be pushed down too hard like this and have too much tension and so much crazy stuff going on without something given and like a wave coming. So I just see that on the forefront.
I just never understood female comedy. It's so like
There's a few good ones.
Oh, there are. Don't get me wrong. It's just so over the top sometimes, like
There
and
are.
vulgar.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's on purpose like that. I think it's because that's what the people that promote allowed. Like that's the one that they decided to give a chance.
Yeah, I think when it came to comedy, one of the best shows and one of my favorites, it was refreshing, was Donald Glover's.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, him and uh, Childish Gambino. I mean, they're two revolutionary actors and musicians.
It's the same
so
person.
they're not. They're definitely not. They've never been in the same place together.
Right.
Oh, that reminds me, dude.
Good. That was good.
Yeah.
Actually, that's funny. One time, I thought that ASAP Rocky and Aesop Rock were the same person,
Right.
but they're two.
Well, they're not. I mean, I don't know who the fuck they are to begin with.
They
but-
are not only are they two different, completely different rappers. One's black and one's white.
Oh wow, yeah, you can't be crossing color barriers.
And the
like
one
that,
is
trying to
spelled
be the same
ASAP,
person.
ASAP, and the other one is spelled Aesop, like Aesop's Fables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Like, it's not even
shit.
the same.
And I thought
That's pretty clever, I guess.
I thought that like it was a split personality thing and they changed their whole gimmick and stuff, but no, it just happens that they came out around the same time, two rappers.
As luck would have it.
Aesop Rock, in my opinion, is better than ASAP Rocky, but ASAP's he's okay, you know. I don't listen to a lot of rap though. Like my favorite rap song is that that new rap song was that Blueface song, and it's just because he says, I got two dicks, and that's just funny to me.
Don't know that song. Oh man, there is a relatively new, I shouldn't say new, up and coming comedian. I cannot find him to save my life. I'll have to get back on that one because that dude is pretty funny. He posts several of his stand ups are on YouTube. He's one of those release your own special type guys.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Hannibal
that's a dead
Buress
end
is
though.
one of my favorite comedians.
I'm kind of
Who?
glad.
Hannibal Buress.
He's good. Yeah, he's a funny dude, man.
I'm kind
Helped
of
bring
glad
down Bill
people
Cosby.
are seeing through Matt Rife a little bit. Like, I don't want to hate on him too much. He can be funny, but like, he's kind of leaned too much into his like getting girls to like talk during his thing, and then just like the hecklers and stuff like, and just like, oh, what's your problem kind of thing while he's doing his set instead of doing jokes. Like, he's got funny jokes, but he kind of leans into that too much. They think it's just so he
I
can
don't
keep time.
I don't find him that funny.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't.
If
There's a
there's
guy named
anybody still listening at this point, I just I want to commend you because I'm pretty sure most of y'all have given up by now.
no, it's okay. I've enjoyed our conversation. I think it was fun. So, and that's, really at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? As long as we get to laugh out of it. So, yeah, this is way less depressing than like reading
We
about how
found the
somebody got
secret Easter
viciously
egg, ladies and
murdered.
gentlemen. The secret Easter egg. Gary, your old friend Pink.
Well, John, how did you break your back, dude?
I'm trying to be a He-Man.
Uh,
That ship has
yeah,
sailed.
that fucking sucks. I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, so we'll be back. What do I say next week at some point?
Yeah, we're gonna be
And
moving. New setup.
we'll have. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say you're gonna have a new setting and stuff like that. Maybe we won't
Yes.
have to share a camera or something, you know.
Or you guys can just yell from across the room again. I can't hear you. Get out of the room. All right. Well, folks, thanks again for listening. We will catch you guys next time.
See ya.